Happy faces. Nobody looks like they're going to throw bananas at me or anything. Go back a bunch of years. And certain fan. There's another Yankee fan. Another one.
11,000.
Oh, that's right. I look at the Yankee fans go, I'm a Mets fan. I will admit, I'm a Mets fan. A dyed-in-the-wool Mets fan. Yes. Yeah. Another Yankee fan. Who knows again? More or less. Too bad. Too bad. Bill, be nice. Okay.
Big, right?
We have a Red Sox fan over here in case you're like Yankee fans, Red Sox fan.
I have pajamas on.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully you're a baseball fan.
Is it still recording if it goes back?
Oh, that's who shows up? Next month's Village Social, Gary Hills is doing a trivia on music trivia from the 30s to the 80s. Gary Hills is doing that for the April.
I have a question for Bill. Is T-Nick or whatever it is, under?
Lunchtime. Trenton. Yeah, I gotta explain it real quick what happened in a minute. Okay, I'm about ready.
You're gonna start?
Okay, yeah. We got it. Now I'm happy. Okay. No, I can do this one. I'll do this. Last time they asked me to use this, despite the fact I happen to believe my teacher voice can carry over everything. It was asked politely to do this, so I'm going to do my best to do it. If I'm all the way out here, you're not going to hear it, but you'll find me doing that just because it's me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Friday, but more important, welcome to the baseball season. And I'm glad to see a lot of faces out there. Some of them are friendly, some of them are Yankee fans, but that's okay. I was talking to a couple people. I am a dyed-in-the-wool Mets fan. I grew up in Brooklyn, so I was a Brooklyn Dodger fan. I rooted for the Dodgers until they moved to LA. Followed them for a couple more years, and then the Mets came in 1962. I immediately became a Mets fan. And I still follow the Dodgers from afar. That one I can't ever get rid of. But I would class myself more as a baseball fan. So I will admit, last year after the Mets got eliminated from the playoffs and the Yankees were still in there, I was rooting for that New York team. I hate to admit it, but that's what I did. So that's because baseball comes first. Now, just to set a little bit of a stage and bore you for a moment, people have noticed the uniform I'm wearing. It's a game-used uniform, which means a player wore it during the game. December of '94, I was reading a baseball magazine, and in the back, I saw an ad that the Trenton Thunder, that's what this is, the Trenton Thunder was selling off some uniform tops, and if you wanted one, you know, call their store and you could order one. So I called. And I said, do you have a uniform my size? And he goes, what size? I go, I'm not very big. But I told them, and they go, yeah, we've got a shirt that'll fit you easily. I go, well, that's kind of cool. I go, just out of curiosity, you got a pair of pants? And they go, actually we do. It's the pants that go with the shirt. You buy the shirt, we'll gladly sell you the pants. I go, I can handle that. Then I go, what about the hose? Yeah, we got hose. We'll gladly sell you one of those. And I finally said, what about a hat? They go, well, we know we got hats. You know, so we'll sell you the hat too. I go, okay, suppose I want all of it. And they go, well, if you pay for the shirt, the pants, and the hat, we will gladly throw in the socks. The whole big one. But anyway, I bought it. And I've been wearing the uniform, the opening of baseball season, every year since opening day. Didn't wear it yesterday because I knew I was going to be wearing it today. But normally I wear it for the opening of baseball season because in one of my past lives, I was a high school math teacher, but I also taught sixth grade a lot. And what I would do on the opening day of baseball season at school, if I was teaching the sixth grade, I'd bring every kid a pack of Topps baseball cards, let them open up the Topps, and we would go through the cards, and we would, I had a worksheet on all the statistics on the back of the cards, and I would spend a day or two with the students talking about the stats on the back of the baseball card with them. And they loved it, I loved it. And even the years when I wasn't teaching sixth grade, I still wore my uniform the opening day. Now, in private schools, we don't have principals, we have headmasters. At one point, we changed headmasters, and I wore my uniform that year. And a day or two later, I get a message that the headmaster wants to see me in her office. Okay, what did I do wrong now? Typical person. So I go in to see the headmaster, and she goes, I need to ask you, why are you wearing that? Why did you wear that uniform the other day? So I told her, opening of baseball season. That was good enough. So every year after that, she always made sure to look me up on the opening of baseball season to wear it. And I have a picture, not of me in it, that's easy enough to do, but here's the player that wore it. His name is Mike Guilfoyle. And he went to St. Peter's University. He is a Jersey boy. Went to St. Peter's University, played for them. There's a picture of him there. And there's a baseball card of him wearing this exact uniform.
All right.
And if you look at the sleeve, it says inaugural year. It's the year that the new Trenton Stadium was opened. At the time this uniform was used, before I go on to more important things, the Trenton Thunder were connected to the Detroit Tigers.
Oh.
And Mike Guilfoyle, therefore, was in the Tiger system. And the next year, and one of the reasons why I believe I know that they were selling the uniforms on, was the next year the team became connected to the Yankees.
Yeah.
And today they're still connected to the Yankees, except they don't play in Trenton. They're now the Somerset Patriots. 4 years ago, there was a big reshuffling of minor leagues, and they took the Yankees decided Trenton was too far away, Somerset was closer. Now, what they actually felt was Somerset was a better ballpark, had better facilities for their players, things like that, so they connected to the Somerset Patriots to be their, what's called AA baseball team. If you know a lot about baseball, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you have the major leagues, and then the next level down is AAA, so they have one level below the majors, then AA, and that's what the Trenton Thunder were, and the Somerset Patriots are. They're AA, so the young men you get to see play there are 2 levels below the major leagues, which could be 2 seasons, not always. It depends on how good those players are. In fact, last summer we went, the men's club at my church bought a bunch of tickets, and a bunch of us went, and the starting shortstop that day was a young man named Volpe. I just watched his first Anthony Volpe. I'm getting old. He was there starting shortstop, and yesterday he was the starting shortstop for the Yankees. And I came home from that game telling Fran, I go, I can't believe what they did to that kid, what they did. All last year it was, this is going to be the next superstar of the New York Yankees, the next superstar. And they had the kid in the minor leagues wearing number 7. Well, if you know anything about Yankee lore, number 7 is Mickey Mantle, one of the greatest Yankees of all time. The number's retired. So but they had this kid playing in the minor leagues with number 7, and they're saying, this is going to be the next greatest Yankee of all time. So I'm going, that's an awful lot of pressure to put on a young man. And when I saw during spring training, he was wearing 77. And somebody asked him why. He goes, well, can't wear 7. So he was going to wear, and his father apparently was a big Yankees fan growing up, a Mantle fan. And somebody told me he was wearing number 11 at the game yesterday. So
1 + 1 = 2. Parent.
Yeah. Derek Jeter was number 2.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Why he chose 11, and he called up the guy that used to wear it, I can't remember his name, and asked him if it would be okay for him to wear it.
oh really?
And he said, yes.
But enough about, no, that's my guilfoyle, about my uniform. I know you're all going, where's the important stuff? Here's one more thing. Here's a picture of guilfoyle a couple of years ago. The 3 years previous to this, he was the head baseball coach at Judson University in Illinois. For a couple of years, he was one of their recruiting coaches. Such an old baseball players apparently get to do. You know, they go coaching and things like that. And so he was an assistant coach there, and then he was their head coach for 3 years. And then I looked him up last week. I Googled him, wonderful thing. I Googled him and couldn't find him. And so I went to the Judson University, and they were talking about their new head baseball coach. But it didn't say what ever happened to Mr. Guilfoyle. But this was his uniform. And they, just to let you know, they list him at, I think he was listed at 5'11". I'm not even close. And they listed him, a lot though, it was like, I think 205 pounds. And I'm certainly not that. In fact, that reminds me, one last story. Well, some people have heard it before. As I told you, I wore this uniform every year. Well, at one point in my life, I was 205 pounds. Okay, believe it or not. Now, 175, give or take a little. Okay, but I was 205 and I was still wearing this uniform. And one year I went to Weight Watchers and I dropped from 205 to 175 using Weight Watchers. And I wore it the next year, and one of my best friends at school comes up to me a day later and goes, Bill, you know, for the first time ever, you've worn that uniform and you look more like a player than a coach. Because you haven't got the big front porch hanging over the belt. Anyway, this is Mr. Guilfoyle. Unfortunately, just in case you want to know, he never made the major leagues. Not even for a cup of coffee. Okay? A cup of coffee means they get up there for a game, a couple games, and so on. But Guilfoyle never got there. Bounced around the minor leagues, then he bounced around the independent leagues, and actually played in Japan one season, Mexico another. But that's the story behind this. And I figured as the speaker, I get to bore you if I want. I did. Okay? So now, some baseball stuff. In case you didn't know, remember this is baseball fact, strange but true. In case you didn't know it, Howard Taft was our 27th president and the first one to ever throw out a ball in a baseball game. And he did it in 1910, 1911. And that tradition has continued forever. Except there were two of our presidents who never threw out a first ball. Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump. Jimmy Carter apparently did it a couple of years after he was out of the presidency. He apparently threw out a first ball after that. But Donald Trump has not done that yet. No political statement from me. You're not going to hear it. Okay. Top line. As of last year, there have been 20,272 players who have appeared in the major leagues since they started it. 20,272. And I wasn't one of them. I don't know how they missed me, but somehow they missed me. And if you're a Mets fan like me, as of December, because the number changed yesterday, there have been 1,185 players who have played for the New York Mets since they were created in 1962. So, just in case. But some interesting things. The shortest player ever was Eddie Goodell at 3'7". He was a midget. Okay? Played in one game, one at bat. He walked. They put a pinch runner in for him, and immediately the league said, no more midgets are going to be able to play Major League Baseball. And, just out of curiosity, you can see how good anybody's memories are. Anybody know what his number was? I do. Because it's close. 1/8. His number was 1/8. And actually on the back it had 1/8 on his number. Because it was before names went on the back, so they didn't have his name on the back. Imagine what his uniform would sell out for today. And then in case you're interested, the tallest player ever is John Roush, a pitcher, is 6'11". Again, not close to what I am. Okay, 6'11". And there's a lot of 6'10s and so on. The really tall guys tend to be pitchers. You know, John Roush, I don't even know if he's in there anymore. But anyway, got that up. And I love this card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? This baseball card came out a couple of years ago, and it shows Aaron Judge of the Yankees, and they're all 6'7", 280, what is it, 282, something like that. Should be a linebacker. And Jose Altuve of the Astros, who they say is 5'5". I've heard people say he's really 5'4". What difference does it make? No, but
He's a good player.
he's a good player, all-star for sure. Other things you may be interested in, the youngest player to ever play was Joe Nuxhall. He was just over 15 years old. And if you look at the date on it, for those that, you know, I'm talking while you're trying to read, that's what teachers do. Remember, when I tried to teach, kids were always talking, so now, when you're trying to read, I'm going to talk at you. But you see, 1944 is during the war. Okay? He came out of high school, didn't even graduate high school, he came out and pitched for the Reds. And the oldest one to ever play is Satchel Paige, who was in his 60s the last time he appeared in a game. So you've got the two extremes, height-wise and age-wise. These are what we do. And you'll see a lot of the pictures are on baseball cards just because at my age I still collect baseball cards. Most of these are not my collection. I do have a collection. I told you earlier that I've been a Met fan forever, and there have been 1,185 players to appear in the major leagues for the Mets. I have the autograph of all but 5 of them right now.
Oh.
And they're guys that have had sometimes a cup of coffee, maybe a little bit more in the last couple of years, so I'm not giving up on getting them. There was one rookie that came up last year, and the Mets traded him to Pittsburgh, and I sent a card to the Pittsburgh Pirates' care of him asking for his autograph. So who knows, if I'm lucky I'll get it. Otherwise, between eBay and other things, I will fill in my missing spots. But you also had at one point a collection of over 200 Negro League autographs, and at one point I had all 29 players who ever appeared for the 55 Brooklyn Dodgers.
When did Satchel Paige start?
He goes back to the Negro League, so you're probably talking about mid-30s, probably 1930s, if not earlier. And, you know, you can see the St. Louis Browns, you know, that really dates you to the early 50s. That part I'm not perfect at. Couple of fastest, longest, just to let you know. Fastest Major League game ever was 51 minutes. And they're trying, obviously, to speed up the games to get that fast now, but they'll never make 51 minutes as they do now, as they did back then for a game. The longest one was 8 hours, 6 minutes, spread over 2 days. Because at some point, they would have hit the curfew, stopped it, started again the next day, and I was surprised, I read it again, that the game ended up in a tie after 25 innings. That's a lot. Imagine how many beers you could drink in 8 hours. Where did beer go? I don't know. Anyway. Some other things you may or may not remember, but every Major League Baseball is supposed to have 108 stitches on it. This one's not a Major League Baseball, it's a cheap imitation. But I almost thought about challenging somebody if they wanted to count the stitches and see if there's 108. So I need something to do in case they get really boring. Raise your hand quietly and I'll let you have it. Okay? But they're supposed to have 108 stitches on the ball, just to let you know. And you can see by the thing, the circumference is 9 to 9.25 inches around. And they weigh between 5, this is the part that amazed me when I used to talk to the kids about this, that they weigh between 5 and 5.25 ounces. Okay? That's a pretty big spread, I think. It is. You know, that's why you get hit in the head with one of these, it hurts. You know, especially today, they're throwing 100 miles an hour at you. Now, here's a question from some people that might have been here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
If I take the circumference of the ball and divide it by the diameter of the ball, what number do I get? I get pi, 3.14. Yeah, some people paid attention a couple weeks ago. Just to let you know. And another thing that should amaze you is that a ball normally is around for 5 to 7 pitches. Because they're foul balls, they get dirty. I can't throw a dirty ball, my hands will get dirty throwing it. So the balls get switched, or last 5 to 7 pitches at best. Okay? If they last longer than that, something's usually wrong, but that's why, you know.
And then what happens?
Then they take them out of play, they use them for batting practice another day. The players take them out in the field and play catch with them. Some of the players are real nice, they'll go up to the fans and say, "Yeah, want a ball?" No, kid. You know, when you go to a ball game, the little kids are so funny, they run down before the game starts, yelling at the players to try to get a ball or an autograph or something like that. But the balls don't last very long.
How
Yeah.
do you think that the number of balls that are used today in
Oh,
a
must be
game
so many.
compares with when like you were a kid?
Oh, gosh.
Because now you see.
We played with balls till you couldn't
Yeah.
catch it.
No, I don't mean when
Oh,
you
the
were
major leagues.
in the majors.
I would bet they
these guys
still-
just throw it in the dirt and the guy throws the ball
Yeah,
out
yeah.
immediately.
They go through them real quick. I just looked at the back. This ball says stitched in Haiti.
Hey?
Haiti. Yeah. Yeah, they were for a while. I thought they had stopped that. I hadn't picked up on that. And nowadays, too, a lot of the ballparks have, every ballpark, I believe now, has a humidor. They have a room that sets the humidity so that the balls are kept there before the game so that they all have the same density when they come out to be played. They're kept in humidors underneath the locker room and then they come out. And of course, if you know anything about the balls,
Oh, wow, yeah.
don't that one, where is that one? We'll have to come back to it. I had a picture, but it must be further down, so you'll have to wait. I'll come back and when I get there, I'll remind you. Here's another story about the balls. Yes, sir.
Answer his question. In 1920, Ray Chapman was killed by a thrown ball.
Yes.
That's when they first mandated there had to be a set number of baseballs available.
Oh,
New baseballs.
I didn't even know that connection. Really?
Yeah.
Could you repeat what he said? I couldn't hear.
Yes, he said 19, what was it?
1920, Ray Chapman, shortstop for the Indians, was killed
Oh,
by a thrown ball.
The only player that ever gets killed in a baseball game.
Oh,
Took one off the head.
he was a shortstop.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go. We'll keep that because I don't want to jump ahead to where it is. Just going forward here.
that's it.
Keep it. Last season, 2 Houston Astro pitchers each threw an immaculate inning in the same game. Now, an immaculate inning is 9 pitches thrown, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So it's like strike, 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 you're gone. Strike, 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 you're gone. Strike, 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 you're gone. Two Houston Astro pitchers did it in the same game. The starter and the reliever.
Oh,
Okay? It was only the 109th and 110th time in baseball history that a major league said an immaculate inning has ever been thrown. Okay, so it doesn't happen a whole lot. But just to make it interesting, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. There we go. They struck out the same 3 players on 9 pitches. Yeah, this is to me like strange but true baseball thing. The same 2 players each struck out on 3 consecutive pitches in different innings.
how funny.
You know? And I have it just as a throwaway. Yeah, once in the World Series, an immaculate inning was thrown. Once in the World Series. But I'm telling you, like 110 times in all of Major League history, you know, it doesn't happen a whole lot. Okay, now we go back. Somebody that dates to a lot of us, Stan the Man Musial, right? A couple of things about Stan the Man. They talk about him as being Mr. Consistency. Consistency. That's a good word. And if you look at this thing, he had 1,815 hits on the road, 1,815 hits at home, in his home stadium. That's pretty good. Just to make it a little bit more interesting, he had 39 stolen bases at home and 39 stolen bases on the road for his career. Yeah, we're talking, okay. I remember that card when it came out. Here's one for you. I got a picture of Stan Musial and Ken Griffey Jr. on the screen at the same time. Anybody know the connections between these two players, besides the fact they're both left-handed hitters, they're both Hall of Famers, you know. What other connection is there between them, you say? I do say. And this is one of the points where, after a while, I decided to give some notes, carry some notes with me, just like doing. Stan Musial and Ken Griffey Jr. were each born in the town of Donora, Pennsylvania. There's about 5,000 people in the town. They were born in the same town. But wait, there's more. I feel like a commercial. But wait, there's more. Stan was born November 21st, 1920. Ken Griffey Jr. was born November 21st, 1969. Okay? I have a little card for some of these connections, but to me they're fun. Okay? Stan was called the Man, obviously. And Ken Griffey Jr. was called, anybody know? The Kid. He was always referred to as the Kid.
Yeah.
Picture of Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. on a card.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, father-son. Oh, wait, yeah, they were the first father-son to ever play in the same baseball game. The first father-son combination ever play in the same baseball game. That's pretty impressive. But, as you said, there's more. In 1990, they were teammates that hit back-to-back home runs in the same game.
No kidding. Oh, my
No! This is kind of stuff that's the most fun going. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty nice card of them. Yeah, and I found, when I Googled to try to find a picture, because this is one of the new slides I've added to a presentation I've done before. And I really wanted to include the Griffeys. I thought this was the best card I found that had the father-son on the same card. And it's kind of neat. Here's another father-son. Cecil Fielder and Prince Fielder. You can tell they're father-son, can't you? I can't, except for the fact I know they are. Okay. Why do I have them up here on this thing? Well, a couple things. They both made the majors at age 21. That's not exciting. But they both finished their careers with exactly 319 home runs. Okay, father, son, 319 each. Yeah. But a couple other things. They each had one season where they hit over 50 home runs. They each had one season when they had between 40 and 50 home runs. And they each had 4 seasons when they hit between 30 and 39 home runs. Okay, kind of neat. And if you really want something to throw away, they each had, of their career hits, they each had exactly 40% of their base hits go for extra bases, doubles, triples, home runs.
What was the time span of each career?
Cecil came in the majors in '85, and Prince came in 2005.
Same team. They played for the same team?
Yeah, but I don't think they were there at the same time. I don't think they ever played for Detroit at the same
That's another
time.
problem with her. Yeah.
But we have another pair of this-time brothers, PJ and Justin Upton. Okay, couple brothers. On July 20th, 2012, each of them playing for different teams hit their 99th career home run on the same day.
Oh, wow.
Approximately 13 days later, They each hit their 100th career home run on the same date. Playing for different teams. And if you like that, in between, they both had 6 singles and 1 extra base hit. Each of them had 6 singles and 1 extra base hit between the home runs. Unfortunately, BJ had a double and Justin had a triple, so darn, so close. They could have made history. Actually, they did.
They did.
They did. Ah, most people know that dude, right?
Jolton Joe.
Mr. Coffee, right? Mr. Coffee. Anyway, all right, what's up there is semi-boring. Most of us know in 1941, Joe DiMaggio hitting 56 straight games to set both the Major League and the Yankee record for most consecutive games in a row with a hit. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, I mean, why not take a fact you all know and make it a little bit harder? Who has the longest consecutive hitting streak for the Boston Red Sox?
Dominic.
Brother Dominic DiMaggio.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
And his younger brother, Dom,
Wow.
has the Boston Red Sox record for the most consecutive hits. And Dom had, what was it, hitting 34 straight games in 1949. And just in case you're interested, on the far right is older brother Vince DiMaggio. He doesn't have any team records. His record was, also happened to be in 1941. His personal record was 14 straight games, sorry. I don't give you the right numbers, so don't check my numbers. But Dom has the most consecutive games with a hit for the Boston Red Sox. And I wonder if my son-in-law, who's a big Red Sox fan, knows that. I should ask him next time I see him. This one happened just last year. This is Chandler Redmond. He hit a home run cycle last year. A home run cycle is a game in which a player hits a home run with nobody on, a home run with 1 person on, a home run with 2 people on, and a home run with the bases loaded. Okay?
All the same.
20. And the records of baseball, it's only the second time it's ever happened at any level. And this Cardinal farm teamer did it last year. And when I first saw the article on him, home run cycle, I might have an idea of what that is, but it's an expression I've never heard before.
That's never happened in the majors. has it?
Never, no, that's what I'm saying. Twice it's happened in the minor leagues. And the other date, he did it 2022. And the last line there says the other player who did it in 1998. But
Is he on the Cardinals now, you said?
I think he's still in the, I don't think he made
He should be.
25, he should be just about there, but I don't know if he is. And I don't know what the rest of his career down there was, truthfully. But I thought that was an incredible, I mean, because we all know that a cycle is a single, double, triple
Yeah,
home
right,
run in the same game. But a home run cycle,
Never knew
you
that.
know, who would have thought? Okay. In case you didn't know, first baseball team to wear uniform numbers on the back of their uniforms was supposed to be the New York Yankees. The problem is they got rained out, and Cleveland Indians played a game on opening day, and they actually are the first team to wear numbers on the back of their uniform. And you can see that was 1929, and the uniform numbers basically matched their batting position in the batting order. So Babe Ruth wore number 3 because he batted 3. Lou Gehrig batted 4, so he wore number 4. And in case you didn't know what Babe Ruth looked like, Daisy came up to me yesterday and asked me if I wanted to show a bobblehead of Babe Ruth. She goes, in case you want to show something off as a bobble. She said they got that at going to a Yankee game. And just to prove it, there's number 3. So Daisy shared that with me. I thought that was kind of cool. I gotta be careful. It doesn't belong to me, so you have to be careful.
That batting order, all of them made the Hall of Fame except one, I think.
Ah, which one? Koenig?
Koenig.
Yeah, Koenig. Mark Carney was probably the only one that did. But the numbers were set by the batting order. I thought Bill Dickey wore number 8. Maybe he did later in his career, but
He's retired with 8 with the Yogi Berra.
yeah, that's what I thought. So when I saw this, I saw 10 with, this came from a reliable source, When I saw Bill Dickey had number 10, but was batting, and the first game he played had number, with the uniform number. And of course, the Yankees are